You're listening to WTIM, your information station. It's time now for your expanded local news. The Taylorville City Council is set to meet on Monday evening at 7 p.m. The Taylorville cross country team will be recognized. Minutes will be approved and several resolutions, including 305 East Poplar Street, changes to the city code on delinquent bills, and also discontinuance of services, as well as properties like 123 East Main Cross, 100 and 102 North Main Street, and 104 South Main Street and commercial industrial park property will all be discussed. The council will also discuss some pay requests, along with advertising for a heavy equipment operator A position within the street department. Under emergency services, the council will review potentially approving a new task force officer position for Lieutenant Ben Toberman. Send one sergeant to the Northwestern School of Police Staff and Command in Peoria. Approve the payout for a canine bite lawsuit of $1,550. Allow for fire station grounds improvements, and add additional no parking signs to the fire department lot. Under Lake and Airport, the council will discuss potentially approving replacing the flagpole at the airport, 2 Kenwood digital radio purchases, and approve some low bids and pay requests as well. The council will hear from the public, city attorney, and Taylorville Mayor Bruce Berry. Stay tuned to Regional Radio News for more following the conclusion of tonight's meeting. You can't predict when or if cancer may strike, but being aware of when something is off and going to the doctor could help save your life. And for one Taylorville resident, knowing something felt off started her down a road that she never expected. Jennifer Heimsness, a Taylorville resident who is more known for being on the sidelines or in a gym watching her kids play sports than sitting in a doctor's office, said that she had been cramping quite bad when her issues had started.
Well, it started in November. I was having really bad cramping in the left side of my body, and I went, and my blood pressure was high. So Kylie took me to the ER, and they didn't do anything there. They just worried about my blood pressure. 3 days later, I ended up in St. John's in Springfield, and they did a CT scan, and they said I had a cyst on my ovary. And then they just sent me medicine and sent me home. And then 3 months later, they called and said I needed a repeat CT scan. And I was kind of confused because I was like, for what? Because I didn't have any other symptoms, and they were like, for whatever. And so I went in and he's like, what do you need this for? And I'm like, I don't really know, but I'm having some bowel issue. And then they called that same day and said that I needed a colonoscopy. And it was basically like a week later. So I went in for a colonoscopy and I had a mass on my colon. Previously, though, in December, they said I had a spot on my pelvic bone and I had a nuclear bone scan, and that came back negative because they thought that was cancer too. So that was April 16th when I got the colonoscopy, and he said we were going to have surgery like literally 2 weeks later or I would be really sick.
Jennifer Heimsness says that the support from her husband, Brad, and their family has really helped her push through the treatments and also the pain.
Brad did a lot of stuff for me when I couldn't do anything on my own. The kids really stepped up. Obviously, most of my kids have moved out now, so it's a little bit rougher because I'll have to call them and be like, can you drive this person here or there? Because I couldn't drive for 8 weeks. But they really stepped into the big role of taking care of me. The first couple treatments were really okay. I didn't know what to expect. They said I wouldn't lose my hair, but the more you wash your hair, the more it falls out. It's really like thin, but I still have hair. Now have neuropathy in my hands and my feet. They say as time goes by, it just builds up. So it should go away, but you could have nerve damage. Week 4 really made me really, really sick. So they kind of tweaked my chemo treatment. I've missed 2 treatments because my white blood count was low. So I couldn't do that. So I'm now pushed back. I also have a colostomy bag because when I did the surgery, my colon was so swollen, they couldn't put me back together. So I was supposed to have surgery in January or July. But since I have chemo, they can't do it because you're sick. So I should have surgery in January.
Jennifer is hopeful that there will be some positive signs in her future. A benefit was held just 2 Sundays ago to help with expenses, and with other things that the family needs. She encourages people to listen to their bodies.
Well, I have 2 more treatments, and then, I'll have scans, and then, my doctor's really he said it shouldn't be a problem to reverse my colon back together. They're hoping to do it laparoscopic, but they tried that last time and it didn't work either. So, and it was a big culture shock to wake up and have a colostomy bag. I've never even heard of a colostomy bag or actually known anybody that has it. But it's basically saved my life. So it's a struggle some days, but I just keep pushing through it. I think just make sure I wasn't old enough to have a colonoscopy. I would just make sure, like, if you have any symptoms or anything, make sure you see a doctor because, like, I mean, I had to quit my job, and I was given 2 weeks to have this surgery. So, I mean, it could have turned bad. So, and people will be like, "How are you doing?" I'm always just fine because I'm not gonna be like, I'm not fine. I mean, I just continue living life like I do every day, and I think maybe it was just time for me to slow down a little bit because I'm so busy, and maybe that's why I have it.
Jennifer Heimsness continues her fight with 2 more treatments ahead, supported by family, friends, and the community. She hopes her story serves as a reminder to pay attention when something does not feel right and to seek medical care early. The Lincoln Land Community College Foundation will begin accepting scholarship applications for the 2026-27 school year starting as of November 15th. Students planning to attend LLCC in the fall of 2026 can apply online at llccfoundation.org/scholarships. The deadline to apply is February 15th of 2026. Foundation scholarships are available for both new and returning students enrolled full or part-time. Many are open to any program of study, with an average award around $1,500 per year. New scholarships this year include the Ameren, Illinois Clean Energy Scholarship, the Kimberly Jean Brandis Scholarship, the Matthew Sukomsky Culinary Scholarship, and several other supporting students in a wide range of fields. Students only need to fill out one application to be considered for all available scholarships, and those applying should complete a college admission application at llcc.edu/apply. For more information, contact the LLCC Foundation at 217-786-2343. This will conclude the first portion of your expanded local news, and it's brought to you by Taylorville Community Credit Union.
Life moves fast and your banking should keep up. This is Will Perkins. At Taylorville Community Credit Union, managing your money is easier than ever. With our 24/7 online banking and mobile app, you can check your balance, transfer funds, and pay your bills. Anytime, anywhere, safe, secure, and just a tap away. For more information, call or stop by one of our local branches. TCCU, local banking that goes wherever you do. Member NCUA.
State Representative Reagan Deering of Decatur joined Representative Amy Ellick of Alton this week to express concern over what they describe as a lack of action from the governor's office regarding Executive Order 2025-05. The order issued in September directed state agencies to identify immediate spending reductions and submit their plans to the governor's office by October 23rd. So far, no findings or updates have been released by the governor's office or any of the state agencies. Deering, a first-time lawmaker, is frustrated with the state's budgeting process, pointing to increased spending in the most recent budget and a lack of fiscal restraint. She has introduced legislation that could require Illinois to pass a balanced budget each year, though the measure remains in committee. House Minority Leader Tony McCombie has also filed a Freedom of Information Act request seeking documents related to the required budget cuts. That request was denied by the governor's office, citing internal deliberations as the reason the information was actually not made public. .4-H and the University of Illinois Extension constantly put on workshops for area youth, which continues now into the winter months. Upcoming events are open to 4-H members, and some expand to the greater community. If a workshop fits your interest and you're not a member, open enrollment is available to join the organization through April of next year. Taylor Sinclair, 4-H Youth Program Development Coordinator with the University of Illinois Extension, has several classes planned before the year ends. The first such comes with a course, a 7-week sewing club, and projects like pillows, pillowcases, tote bags, and more to make.
This one will be located in Montgomery Extension. So here at the Hillsborough office. This is from 2 to 3:30. You do have to be a 4-H member for this. That's mostly just kind of for insurance purposes to make sure if something happens, like you're covered under our policy. It's a $10 cost. They'll get to make there's a couple things that they get to make. They're making a pillow. They'll make a bag. They also get to make a pillowcase, and then they even get to make a table runner. And they could add more onto that. It would just kind of depend how much time and how fast the kids are kind of moving through that. So you're okay. And the dates for that this starts this Sunday, so it's for 6 weeks. November 16th, the 23rd, the 30th, December 7th, 14th, and 21st from 2 to 3:30.
On November 25th from 3 to 4 p.m. at the Kitchell Memorial Library in Morrisonville is an embroidery workshop with a focus on beginners and simple stitches.
So I had this one also that I did in Montgomery County, and it was super popular. The kids had fun with it. It's a youth beginner embroidery workshop. So the kids are going to embroider their name onto a stocking. They'll submit what their name is that they want to put on there, and they'll get to select what their stocking color is, and same with their yarn that they put their name in. And they're going to do a chain stitch and put their name into the stocking.
So make your own holiday stocking to take home for the mantle later.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, and it only costs $5. And I'm actually doing this at Kitchell Library there in Morrisonville.
And going further into the holiday season, area youth will have a chance to create an evergreen porch pot. This course will be held on November 9th, starting at 5 p.m. at the Christian County Extension Office.
Yeah, so last year I think we did holiday wreaths. So this year we kind of just wanted to mix it up a little bit just to kind of alternate from the year because these are really popular. So they're going to get to make their own little porch pots. So they'll still do like the little evergreens. It'll still be similar to like the wreaths, but instead they're just going to make a pot that can go outside that isn't going to be affected by the weather. You don't have to worry about because it's too cold, your plants are going to die.
Mhm.
They're able to, live out there for that reason. So, but they're super cute. I honestly had never heard about them, but one of my coworkers was mentioning them. I was like, that sounds like a really fun opportunity. It's kind of similar to the wreath a little bit. And it's using fresh evergreen foliage, pine cones, berries, any of the things that we're able to provide to make it.
Lastly, in December for 4-H is their Cook and Connect workshop. On December 16th through the 19th, food kits for delicious family cooked meals to make at home will be passed out. The fee for this is $10.
So this is really cool. This was something that they actually did kind of like earlier on as in COVID. But basically we'll have like a kit that we create. We'll have the non-perishable ingredients that we put in the activity. And they'll get to go home and kind of make it with their family. Which I think is really fun because I think parents really like to be able to get involved and be part of that and just be part of their kids' journey, especially their 4-H journey a little bit. But the other thing about whenever you get to the Connect part is there's going to be an option to purchase an additional kit that we will donate to the less fortunate. So that way they can also participate in the same opportunity, basically.
You can find out more about the 4-H program and the University of Illinois Extension at go.illinois.edu. Taylor Sinclair appeared as a guest on the WTIM Morning Show. A utility assistance program wants to help low-income Illinoisans pay for their utility bills. Established in 1982, Warm Neighbors, Cool Friends works with energy leaders like Ameren, Illinois to provide energy bill assistance and energy efficiency solutions to income-qualified residents. Susan Sams is the executive director of the nonprofit that's based in Decatur. According to SAMS, the assistance program is designed as a one-time payment to help with accounts of less than $1,500. Over the years, Warm Neighbors and Cool Friends have assisted over 100,000 households. For more information, visit warmneighborscoolfriends.org. The Illinois Farm Bureau annual meeting is less than a month away, and among the policy discussions will be issues surrounding data centers, says Illinois Farm Bureau Vice President Evan Holtheim. The IFB annual meeting is December 9th through the 6th through the 9th in Chicago. This will conclude the second portion of your expanded local news, and it's brought to you by CNB Bank and Trust.
At CNB Bank and Trust, we believe banking should feel personal. Our checking accounts are designed to make everyday life easier with local service, modern tools, and a team who knows your name. We've been growing with our communities for generations, helping families and farmers and small businesses reach their goals. Because here, you're more than an account number, you're our neighbor. CNB Bank and Trust, helping to open doors since 1854. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Moving now to obituaries, which can be found at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com and are brought to you by Sutton Memorial Home.
When it comes to organizing your life, Sutton Memorial Home in Taylorville has some words of advice. Consider pre-planning your funeral. The death of a loved one can be a traumatic event in people's lives, and you can spare your family the burden of planning a funeral when they are grieving. Sutton Memorial Home knows that establishing a pre-arrangement assures that important decisions and your personal selection are made in advance and spares your family an additional burden at their time of loss. Sutton Memorial Home in Taylorville. Caring is what they do best.
81-year-old Janet K. Beck of Taylorville died on November 10th. Visitation is November 17th from 10 a.m. until 11 a.m. at McClure Funeral Home in Taylorville. Funeral service will also be today, November 17th at 11 a.m. at McClure Funeral Home in Taylorville. Burial will be at Mount Auburn Cemetery. Funeral arrangements are being handled by McClure Funeral Home and Cremation Services in Taylorville. 77-year-old Dean F. Ray of Taylorville died on November 4th. A graveside committal service will be on November 21st at 10 a.m. at Camp Butler National Cemetery in Springfield. Cremation rights have been accorded, and funeral arrangements are being handled by McClure Funeral Home and Cremation Services in Taylorville. 66-year-old Tara Eileen Terry of Taylorville died on November 10th. Arrangements will be made at a later date. And 88-year-old Joanne Coffey of Stonington died on November 13th. Graveside service will be November 22nd at 1 p.m. at Ponting Cemetery in Stonington. An urnement will follow. Cremation rights have been accorded, and funeral arrangements are being handled by McClure Funeral Home and Cremation Services in Taylorville. Get details on these and other local news stories at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com or hear them every hour on WTIM. WTIM is your only local news radio.